Alright, for this video I'm going to continue drawing fin. So let's have a look from where we left off. Right, so I have this one group here and I have this drawing here. If I double click of the body, so like I mentioned earlier, you can draw and then group it just like how you did previously. So here I have a stroke, I can group it, so I can actually go to modify and say group, Ctrl G. So whenever I say Ctrl G, basically it's this. So now I have a separate group. I can move it freely. I can be sure that if I draw a line on top, it's not going to affect it, right? So I can still, do curves with that. So that's why we sometimes, or a lot of times, we want to use the group feature. So this is a group. I can double click that and go inside. You can see that you are in scene one group. You are inside of the group. So okay, I'm gonna do the next thing. So we're inside of this group where we can select the stroke. I want to draw this pattern here across. So if I were to just do something like that, it will work. I mean, if you're good with the drawing part, this can work pretty much okay. What's not nice is you cannot move the line after you draw it. For instance, if I were to if I'm going to select the middle part, so let me just delete this. If I'm going to select the middle part and if I move it, right, I mean I can, it's just, you'll see that I've created 2 points here. So you see that's a point, that's another point. See, here it's even clearer, 1 point, another point. So sometimes I do not want that to happen. Again, this is from previous. Let me just undo things. So we have this stroke, yeah? And if we go to point mode and you select, there's no points at all. So if I draw a line that goes across there and kind of carefully place it, yeah, that's fine, and I could probably curve that nicely, and that will work if you're the type that who's careful with how you draw. And if you go to sub selection and select that, there's only 1 point and another point. That's all okay. But for greater control, I would advise you to actually create a group. For this one, we managed to do it pretty good and no problem whatsoever. And I can go to my sub selection tool and kind of do that, play with the tangent a bit more, just so that we get the kind of curve that we desire. So that's okay. Let me get a different example. So I'm gonna go back to the scene level. We're gonna do the back there, yeah? Alright, so I'm gonna do things a different way now. I'm gonna, instead of simply draw a stroke, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna Ctrl G, which inherently creates a group. See, I'm inside of a group, so that, but there's nothing in it. So I can, using my line tool, I can now start to draw. Right, so I curve that. I'm in my selection tool, hold Control, pull that out, pull this out, and probably shape that nicely, and shape this one as well. It's not giving me the nicest line, so what I'm gonna do is I'll select that first and then delete, hit A so that I'm in my sub selection tool, select that point, zoom in a bit perhaps, hit A, select that point, and play with the handles until you produce a nice looking line. And maybe that guy, that could go there, that one sits there. Not bad. Still in my sub selection tool, I'm gonna tweak this guy now. Maybe move it down here. And that seems okay. maybe I'll just tweak it a bit more. Yeah, that seems nicer. Just want this point. Yep, sweet. Okay, so now we're gonna do this line. So like I mentioned, you can just cut like that, and if you're careful with how you cut it, you can get a nice line going on straight away. I've been doing this long enough that I can be sure of what I do. But here's something that you can do as well, which I'm gonna show you in a bit. I'll go back to scene level. We're gonna draw that part. Well, let's just draw this part. We can just duplicate that after the fact. So I'm gonna draw this part now. Yeah, I'm gonna use the grouping feature. So Ctrl G. We're in an empty group. We'll draw those lines out. Selection tool, curve it nicely. Use the sub selection tool, bring it out maybe. Play with the handles. Alright, not bad. We curve this a bit more. Okay, if the handles isn't giving you the right kind of look, you can actually add more points or not. Like this example seems okay. Alright, so I'm gonna select that, hold alternate, pull it out to the side. Maybe we should go up here. It's okay, we need to tweak it regardless. I'll use my normal selection tool to pull that out, pull this out here. Okay, that looks funny. Hit A, and I know there's a point created for me there. I'll just bring it a bit lower maybe. Pull that handle out. Alright, cool. Alright, we're gonna do this part now. Use my line tool. Remember snapping from the previous video? So in this instance, I want it to snap. I mean, I could just do something like that, but then I have all this, extra lines that I don't really need, so I need to delete it before I edit it, which is okay. That works sometimes. But if you just want it to kind of stick to there, you can actually use snap to objects. So with my line tool, if I click here, it'll snap to that point and snap to that point, and that way I can get a seamless thing from there to there. And we'll fix the handle using the sub selection tool. Okay, this is a bit tricky. That's going to mess up that part. You can use the convert anchor point tool if you're good with that. So you can actually just move one handle and not affect the other one. So that could work as well. Alright, that seems okay. Maybe not. Let's just fix it just a bit more. Alright, seems okay. Alright, cool. Alright, sweet. Okay, we're gonna do these lines here and here for the fingers. So now I'm gonna teach you the other way of drawing. Rather than just cutting it across carefully like that, which seems to do a good job already, you can actually, if you're not sure, you can hit Ctrl G and draw that line simply like that. Go back outside of this group, so you have that now, isn't it? And you can still move it around. You can still go in and you can still tweak that. So it's not like it's a destructive thing straight away. You can still tweak it and shape that line however way you want until you get the desired stroke. Go back out. Only then do you break this apart. So you can go to modify, break it apart so it collapses. Now it's all one thing. You can delete the ends, and then you have that clean line. So same thing with this. This is a bit trickier because everything's really close apart. So maybe I should Ctrl G, create an empty group. You're inside now of that empty group. Draw that line out. Draw hold alternate, drag it here. So you get another slit for the finger. Seems maybe okay. Use my arrow keys. Seems okay. and you're outside. Select the group, Control B to break it apart. Remember this guy? Sorry, that one, break it apart. Alright, so now it's all one thing. Select the ends that you don't want, and you have slits for fingers. Not so sure how many fingers he has, we'll just say he has 3. And let's go back to scene level, and we're done on that side. Do we need to draw that part? Well, you can be clever with how you approach things. You can actually flip it. But let's just finish the legs first before we do that. So I'm gonna Control G, keep on drawing, and probably keep my mouth shut while I do this as well. So just observe. I'll say that's okay. Oops, sorry. Select the line, hold alternate, pull it out. Pull this out here. Seems okay. Let's just extend that line a bit. Alright, seems okay. Alright, and my snapping is still on, so that will stick nicely. Go down here, that shouldn't be too pointy, so we want to play with the handles a bit. That's messing up that part, but it's not that bad, so I'll say that's okay. Okay, and go back out. Now let's do that, Control G. Perhaps they should all be one thing, so I'm gonna Control G yet again. Go get the oval. Hold alternate while I draw. Oh, I don't want rectangle, sorry. Oval. Click and hold, by the way. So we are in oval. Hold alternate so it draws from the middle. So like that. Use my arrow keys to place it nicely there. You can argue whether it's flat at the top or not. It's up to you. I decide to make it kind of like that. Feels a bit better. So I'm gonna select the stroke, hit Q, scale that up, hold shift while I do that, and that looks okay. Let's shape it a bit as well. Seems okay. Go back outside. We are in here. That's a group of its own, and I'll Control G because I want to draw the boots next. Oh, snapping is on, so everything's like sticking. So I'm gonna switch off snapping. The shortcut is actually Control Shift U. Alright, so it's now off. It's easy to draw. You can use the oval for this, no problem. And use the selection tool, V. We're gonna say it's gonna cut here and perhaps here. Select that, put it there. Here's where snapping might come in handy. So go to snapping, snap to object, select that. We're gonna snap it so it snaps. Doesn't seem like it wants to snap, so maybe not. We'll just pull that out so it snaps. But herein lies the problem. I don't like doing this thing because see, you gotta kind of tweak things, and that's why I like to use the A to select the points and tweak it myself. Still, it's a lot of points that I need, so that's why it's rare that you see me doing something like that. I would rather just draw the line myself. So snap that. I'll just snap that. Okay, I'm gonna switch off snapping now. And how do you do this? You are in your selection tool, hold control, don't let go, pull that out so you get that. This one, I let go of my control, pull that out. Right, so that should be a curve, so make it a curve. Use my selection tool, we're gonna tweak that so it looks like that. Immediately you get the thing that you desire. This is good. Let's go out. So that is a group. That's a group by itself, which actually sits in a bigger group. Alright, so we're done here. Let's do the flipping part. This should be fun. So I remember doing this in Flash earlier, and it required me to cleverly play with the transformation tools. But here we are in Animate. So Animate, there are other tools that you can use. For instance, if I can find it, let's see. There, transform. I'm pretty sure there is one. Like if you right mouse button, I'm pretty sure transform flip is there. There you go. So you can flip horizontal. That basically kind of mirrors it the other way. I'll show you. We want to select this two, which is going to be duplicated and go the other way. And I hold shift and select these two as well. So we got like all the limbs that we want to duplicate. Right mouse button, go to transform, flip horizontal. But you gotta copy it first, because if not, it'll just flip that and you're left with no arm here. So undo that, you copy it first, right? Or not, you just hold alternate and you drag it to the side, which is basically the same thing, copying. Right mouse button, go to transform, flip horizontal. So you flip it the other way and then you pull that out right there. That's a bit tough to align because, you know, when it was drawn, it was not symmetrical, but you can just keep it symmetrical. Pick one side that you want to follow for real. We say that side. Don't bother about following the reference as close as you need it to be over here, because if you hide the reference now, that's not a bad cleanup of fin. It's okay. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the drawing of fin. I'm gonna end this video before it gets too long. In the next video, we're gonna learn how we can color in our fin character. See you then.